Live from FedEx Forum, this is The Odds Couple on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
What's up, y'all? Welcome into The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. I'm Lang Whitaker. Somebody's trolling me because right now on the X.com, somebody posted a link to come watch this show, come interact with us in the chat, come enjoy it. And they used the Shohei Ohtani home run swing. Don't like it. I'm Lang Whitaker here live at the studio right next to FedEx Forum alongside Rob Fisher, who is not actually alongside me, just sort of in spirit. Rob's in Miami.
That's right. Lovely Miami.
You look like you're in the witness protection program. You have the light behind you. Like it's always, yeah, there we go. It's a little better.
Yeah. I just wanted to get the scene behind me of the sunshine and the beautiful day in Miami because I know you guys aren't having beautiful weather there.
No, it's been pretty crappy for the last 24 hours. And I think we're going to have, I don't know, I got an email today that the golf courses are closed until Sunday.
Oh, my.
So I don't know how much of that is rain we've already had versus expected rain versus, you know, some of these golf courses, they can have like lakes that aren't supposed to be lakes in the middle of the golf course. So, I don't know. But Rob's in Miami. The Grizzlies take on the Miami Heat tonight at 6 o'clock our time, 6:30
6:30.
6:30 Central Time. So you can catch Rob and all the guys on FanDuel
Nope.
Sports Network.
Nope. I'm off tonight.
Oh, it's a TNT game? Yes.
TNT tonight. Yeah, I'm
TNT
just here for the ride.
You're here for the vibes.
Yeah, it's nice. Nice little trip to Miami to not have to work. It's great.
With my former mentee, Coach Tuomas Isalo.
Yeah.
Who is the new head coach of the Grizzlies. And as Rob was there the other night, he credited me with being one of his biggest influences in a press conference.
Good stuff.
He's done it several times. Also here, CJ Hurt, John Roser.
What up? Final Four weekend. Let's go. Big one.
Yeah. How you feeling? I know you're under the weather a little bit.
Yeah, we're good. We're a little better.
The royal we.
Yeah, the royal we. The royal we. We're a little better. We're not 100%, but we're a little better.
Day to day, like all of us.
Yeah.
CJ, how are you? I saw you took a little walk maybe today. I saw you coming in.
I didn't bring any food, so I had to go find some food.
Instead of coming in hot, you were coming in wet.
I like coming in wet. I went all the way down to Willie Moore's, and he was like, we got 25 people in front of you. Since when, Mr. Moore? Since when? But I ended up trying out the Coop downtown. Pretty good chicken. Pretty good fried, pretty good like party wings, stuff like that. Yeah.
Coop's a good name for a chicken restaurant.
Yeah.
I've got a better one. I'm keeping it under wraps till when I actually open a restaurant. I've got the merch figured out, the whole thing.
All right.
I'm ready to go. But yes, it is Final Four weekend, and that's a good place as any to start for this show because we're going to talk about a little college basketball. We have 4 teams left. They're all the top seeds. We have playing on – trying to find the bracket. Playing on
Saturday.
Saturday
They're playing.
Saturday is Auburn, Florida.
Yep.
Duke, Houston.
Yep.
Duke's favored by 5.5, Florida by 2.5. Rob, how do you feel about those two matchups? Which one of them makes you a little bit more excited to bet on it?
Oh, to bet on it? Man, I don't know because I like Duke only because of the same things I've been concerned about for Houston. But those things that concern me about Houston, they've been able to overcome those things and still win.
What are those things?
Offense. Just do they have enough offense to? My question going into this one: do they have enough offense to beat Duke?
Yeah.
Because although I think Houston, for how amazing they are defensively, I still think Duke will be able to score 70.
I do too.
Can Houston score more than 70 points? I don't know. So I like Duke in that one. The other one is interesting just because you got two of the best teams all season long. Both of them shared time at number 1 in the country, and Florida just destroyed Auburn the time that they met in Auburn. So that's why Florida is favored in this game. But it depends on how healthy Broom is. It's going to be a big part of this game as well. But I tend to lean towards Auburn, but that's probably more for the fact that I've picked them in my bracket to win the NCAA tournament. So I think I'm going to ride Auburn, but that one probably scares me more than anything as far as betting is concerned.
The thing about Broom to me is you watch him play and you're like, all right, he's really good, college player of the year. But when you watch him, you're like, well, he's not like incredibly athletic or anything else. He just knows how to position himself well. He makes the right plays. He's an amazing player from like almost more mentally than he is physically. And it's worked out. He's been great this year. And you keep seeing these matchups pop up for Auburn. And you're like, oh, well, Broom's going to get outplayed by this guy or Broom's going to get outplayed by that guy. And Auburn just keeps winning. And you feel like with Florida, you're like, well, they've got Condon. They've got a lot of good wing players. They're going to be fine against Auburn. But Auburn just keeps winning. And I don't know, CJ, you thought Michigan was going to be the one to knock them down. And Auburn just kept winning.
Yeah, Auburn is all of these teams. They're a reason why they're all here, one, and why they're all the top 4 teams seeded in the tournament, because they're all really, really good. Auburn is not just Broom, it's that supporting cast, it's the job Coach Bruce Pearl does as well. They can defend at a really high level as it pertains to that game in particular, though. I think the under might be the play in that one as I go to my notebook.
Which one?
The Workplace Lane notebook. Since 1985, that's when the field expanded to 64.
We learned that last week.
We've seen 15 totals over 160 in the Final Four in championship game. The under is 10-5, and last I checked, that over/under for Florida Auburn is 160.5,
That's a lot.
which would be over the 160. That is a whole lot of points. These two teams did play once this season. Florida ended up winning that game, and the team total was 171. So they hit the over 160.5 the first time they played. Will it happen again? I don't think so. It's a different type of game. I think that it'll be a bit slower, a bit more grinded out-ish, but both of these teams can score, right? So if it gets to 75, 70, that will give you the under there. I like the under in that one.
The Duke Houston one is the one, to me, the under might be the better play. It's 135. It's a low number, but like Rob mentioned, you think Duke could score 70 points. So that means Houston would have to score 65 to hit 135, and I don't know if they have that in them. John Roser's been talking about Houston for a couple of weeks now. He was on the bandwagon early, and Houston drove the bandwagon straight to the Final Four. How do you feel about that matchup against Duke?
Well, it's a rematch of last year. Sweet 16 game where Houston just got decimated by injury. I think they lost Jamal Shedd in that game too, and it by that point they didn't have enough. Even as they were the 1 seed and Duke was the 4 seed, it just you ran out of horses. This Duke team is better than last year's Duke team, and Houston. I kind of feel like Houston's the exact same team every year.
Yeah,
I expect Duke to win and cover this, and I hate Duke. But yeah, I don't see Houston winning this game. But they're tough as hell. It's gonna be a fight. But
best defensive team in the nation is Houston. Duke is so long and so athletic, and Houston is not, which is remarkable when you stop and think about it. I didn't realize this till Jessica pointed it out. She said she was surfing on the Reddit and came across breakdowns.
That's your first problem.
Found breakdowns of some of these the 2 Final Four games, excuse me. She said she didn't realize, and I didn't either, of the rotation players Houston has, none of them are over 6'8". Right?
Yeah.
Like it's Juwan Roberts is they're big.
Duke is all 6'5" and taller.
They're all long and athletic, so maybe Houston can use that quickness and really get underneath and into some of these Duke players to make them uncomfortable. But listen, if Cooper Flagg is able to facilitate for Proctor and for Knipple and the rest of the Blue Devils, it's going to be real hard to beat them.
No, it's the number 1 offense against the number 1 defense. And Duke also has the number 5 defense in the country. So Duke, the number 1 offense, number 1 in offensive rating. Houston is number 1 in defensive rating. Houston is number 10 in offensive rating, and Duke is number 5 in defensive rating.
We talk about Houston like they're some team that can't score at all, but they average
They are efficient.
75 points a
Yeah.
game during the season. Like
When they need to score, they'll score. Like you said, Rosa, they're efficient. They might not put up the same sort of points that like an Alabama pits up or a Florida pits up, but they are, I think, more efficient offensively than both of them, according to Gimbo.
It's also sort of anecdotal. Like, I don't have these numbers in front of me, but it feels like Houston gets a lot of their scoring, like off turnovers, transition, things like that, rebounds, and get out. Because they generate a lot of that because they're so tough defensively. And I don't know how Duke is going to – it feels like Duke's one of those teams that's going to take care of the ball, kind of limit those sort of opportunities for Houston. Fish, do you think that Duke is going to just run away with this thing?
I wouldn't say run away with it. I mean, I think what Roser said, it's going to be a fight because that's what Houston does. They make it a fight. And, reading those stats, I think the thing that maybe goes unnoticed is Duke being number 5 defensively. So they're nothing to sneeze at on the defensive side. I just think their offense is good enough to be able to score their share of points. And it's been my concern with Houston really for the last month. When they get bogged down offensively, how do they find buckets? And if they fall behind in a game, how do they find buckets? And I think that's been something that's been a little difficult for Houston. Now, Cryer's been amazing, and he's bailed them out of some games going back to the conference tournament. That he single-handedly bailed them out of games and got it done offensively for them. But I just think with Duke's defense as well, I like Duke. I would say Duke to cover, but the one thing we've seen in this tournament is when they've been small lines, they've been decided by small margins as well. So 5.5 seems a little big to me, but if I had to go one way or the other, I would certainly go Duke.
I don't know why, but this one to me feels like if Duke's going to win the game, they're going to cover. Like, I feel like if they win, it's not going to be by under 5 points. They're going to win by 10, 12, something like that. Knock Houston out of this thing kind of early. I don't feel like if it's a close game, like I don't know if Houston can hang out offensively with Duke in the half court especially.
And even if Houston gets up at some point, or even if Houston gets rolling and they're going shot for shot, we saw Houston against Tennessee, for whatever reason, struggle against the press all of a sudden. Houston was in complete and total control of that game, was dominating Tennessee, another really good team. And then Tennessee decided, like 12 minutes left in the game, 10 minutes left in the game, hey, we just got to go full court press and try and get extra possessions and speed Houston up. And so that's something that Coach Shire and the Blue Devils have in their back pocket if they need it to, hey, the game is slowed down. We're moving at Houston's pace because Houston has an ability to control the pace of the game. Let's throw the press out there at them and see if they can handle it. And if the Cougars handle the press the way that they handled it against Tennessee, they'll be in a whole lot of trouble against Duke. Because Duke will take advantage of them. Duke will score.
I also think with the Florida-Auburn game, we talked about Janai Broome and his impact on the game. I kind of feel like this game is going to be the battle of the backcourts because Auburn kind of quietly, Broome gets all the attention, but Pettiford's been amazing. My guy Denver Jones keeps putting up
great
points.
name.
Yeah, the best name. He keeps scoring, doing stuff for them. And then Florida, Clayton Jr. has been incredible for them. Will Richard has been great for them also. And I think like whichever team wins the backcourt battle between Auburn and Florida is going to be the team that wins that game. Any feelings on that, Rob?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think when I look at these two teams, I just look at them both being so explosive. I think this is a game that's just going to go toe-to-toe, back and forth from start to finish because they're both athletic. They're both good as far as shooting is concerned. I think this is the one that I look at as the matchup where you can flip a coin. Because Auburn's been that good this season, Florida's been that good this season, and I think to match them up with Florida getting the win earlier in the year, it's going to be difficult. Which team makes the adjustments? Well, I guess Auburn would be the team that has to make the adjustments since they got beat. What kind of adjustments do they make? And then how can Florida adjust on the fly? I think it's going to be a great matchup with two SEC schools, and if it comes down to one thing, I like Auburn's coach better than I like Florida's coach, and maybe that's the difference in this game.
You bring up the coaches, Rob. Yeah. Since 1978 start of seeding, the more experienced coach is 70-44 straight up and 61-52 61-52-1, excuse me, against the spread in the Final Four in the national championship game. That against the spread number is 55%.
Woo!
So if you do nothing but pick the most experienced coach.
I have already bet Auburn plus 136 on the money line. I don't need your 2.5 points. This is also revenge game for Auburn.
Yep.
Teacher versus student. Student will not win again. I like Auburn. Easy. Dub.
Easy.
Over the Gators.
Is it snowing outside?
No, it just got really, really bright as the rain and
Look
the
at that.
storms keep falling.
Like, in front of the windows, it looks like it's snowing.
Are we hail?
Call that hail.
Hail.
Call that hail.
Or sleeting maybe?
Hail, yes.
Todd Golden, 1-4 against the spread in the tournament over his last 11 Florida games. Bruce, wait, what is that? No, Todd Golden is 1-4
Thanks,
against the
Fish.
spread in the tournament. Shut up, Rob. Nobody cares. Bruce Pearl, 8-4 against the spread as an underdog in the tournament.
Todd Golden, 2 years at Florida, 58-16.
Wow.
The guy wins games, and he doesn't really get talked about in many positive ways. He got talked about some in this offseason. But, in this game, we're going to get a million shots of Bruce Pearl screaming on the sideline and stomping up and down. And Golden, I kind of feel like he's one of the more underrated coaches, especially in this Final Four of the 4 coaches that are left. He's the one who probably gets talked about the least. So it could be interesting to see that matchup, too. The NIT is also cruising to the finish.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand this. I was looking at this today, Rob. The schedule for the NIT has 3 games tonight.
No, tonight's the
No,
final.
tonight's the championship, and there's 2. Oh, the college basketball crown is the other
The
one.
crown.
Yeah. The NIT championship is UC Irvine against UTC, University of Tennessee Chattanooga. And who's favored? UC Irvine favored by 3.5, over under 145.5. Does anybody know anything about these games? UC
Yeah.
Irvine's a 1 seed at least.
Yeah, no, Irvine's the better team. Irvine's a team that's been playing really well from their conference tournament now into the NIT and been dominating their opponents and covering on a nightly basis. I like UC Irvine tonight to cover against Chattanooga. Chattanooga had a nice cover as an underdog in the last meeting, a straight-up win. Not going to happen tonight, though. UC Irvine, the Anteaters, they are NIT champions. That game's at Hinkle Fieldhouse tonight. That's where we play the NIT championship now.
Where's Hinkle Fieldhouse? Butler?
Butler, yeah.
Yeah. I went there one time when I was covering the NBA for NBA.com. The Cavs in the playoffs were playing the Pacers, and they practiced at the Butler gym. So we got to go hang out there like on a Saturday morning. It was awesome. It's like stepping into like history, It's cool. There's actually a bulldog statue right outside. We'll talk more about mascots later. The Butler Bulldogs. But there's a
Blue, the Butler Bulldog, Blue.
I don't know. Jim? I don't know his name. Kenny?
His name's Blue.
Okay.
Oh, so we're going with UC Irvine tonight for the
Okay.
NIT championship.
The
now the
Anteaters.
problem is the crown tournament. We talked about it on
Yep.
Monday. The bracket and everything, and I
Yep.
bet some games on Monday for the crown. The games have now been taken off
Why?
all sports books because apparently they're not regulated games and they have different rules that nobody understands.
There's a line.
So-
There's a line on ESPN Bet for these games. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's not. Oh wait, yes it is. At first it said not available. Now it is.
Yeah, they have the lines, but if you try to go to FanDuel or DraftKings or anybody, they don't have the games available to bet anymore. They did on Monday, but not anymore.
Villanova is a -5.5 favorite against USC tonight, according to ESPN Bet, and UCF at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored by 6.5. Also for that, it's probably like a home game. No, Rob, it says these games are at. Oh, the Crown games are at MGM Arena in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That feels. You can't bet on games being played in Vegas. That seems kind of ironic.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but apparently there were a lot of questions on, like, there are different rules. Like, coaches can challenge out of bounds calls and things like that down the stretch of the game. And if you get the challenge right, you can continue challenging as long as you want. If you get it wrong, then you're done challenging. But you can do that, and I don't know. I don't know why they took them out. There are a lot of players, obviously, that have entered the transfer portal as well, and so I don't know. I don't know why they took the lines off, but it's a pretty bizarre situation.
I've been reading about all these coaches who are pissed because players who are committed are getting calls from other coaches. Like agents are calling. It seems like it's like really the Wild West out there right now with the transfer portal.
Yes.
More so than college football. Even.
Sign them to contracts, and then you won't have to worry about that type of stuff.
Are they allowed to sign them to contracts?
Well, let's make it a rule where you can.
That's going to take 6 years to make that a rule. You know how it works. Like there's
We'll have to get the Congress involved.
Got to get subcommittees involved.
Are the tariffs going to affect football helmets?
Helmets?
Yes.
Where are they imported from?
I don't know. I got to figure that out.
They might be American made. Riddell sounds like an American company. I don't know. Last night, no, never mind. We're going to talk about baseball, but we'll save that. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back, talk about some NBA. We're going to talk about some baseball. We got a top 5 with mascots. CJ is going to break down the UFL.
Damn right.
Which is now several weeks, we think, into their competition. Check in on the Memphis Steamboats.
Ken Wisenhunt's back.
Oh, he is. The Steamboats got their coach back.
Yeah, Ken Wisenhunt. He's back. He's back with the team.
All right. And also we got some fish nuggets. And we got some free picks. So we'll take a break. We'll come right back. You're watching The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
The Millennium Tour 2025 with Trey Songz. Hustle Marion. With Bow Wow. With special guest Rick Ross. Along with Clyde. Boosie. The Yin Yang Twins. And RSVP. Featuring Ray J, Sammy, Bobby V, and Pleasure P. And Nivea. Sunday, April 6th in FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster and BPCtickets.com.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Welcome back to The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. Lang Whitaker alongside Rob Fisher, who is coming to us live from Miami, Florida, in the beautiful environs down there on Biscayne Bay, I believe. You there, Rob?
Yeah.
All right, just make sure.
Hold on, I'm adjusting.
Yeah, what are you adjusting? You don't have a tie on.
Got my earpiece.
Oh, all right.
But yes, it's beautiful. Beautiful here in Miami. And beautiful day today. Went and got me a Cuban sandwich. And
Oh, the best.
that was fantastic. And just looking at some of the great sights here in Miami. It's beautiful. Beautiful day.
Lot of great sights down in
Yeah.
Miami. CJ Hurt also with us. John Roser actually just left during the commercial.
What?
Yeah, he got up and left. Said he had to
Wait,
go
did he not tell everybody?
No, I didn't
He
know
had
was-
enough?
I didn't even. First of all, I didn't know he was going to be here for the show. Secondly, I didn't know he was going to leave early if he was here. You thought he was out too, right?
Yeah, I thought he was. I didn't. I was just glad he could
Yeah, I did
grace us
too.
with his presence for a segment. I
Yeah.
thought he wasn't here at all.
He just wanted to talk about the Houston game, I guess. He said he had to go do some work on his lower back, and he walked out of here.
All I heard was back work. I was like, okay, I didn't know that's what we were calling it.
He's
Okay,
working that back.
got to do it. Blow it out.
Let's talk a little bit about the NBA since Rob's with us and you're down there in Miami getting ready for tonight's game between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Miami Heat on TNT, 6:30 local time, before the Grizzlies head to Detroit for the next game. The Grizzlies are struggling. What word are we going to use?
Scuffling, spiraling.
I wouldn't say that. Because those last two games, they've lost both those games here at home to the Celtics and the Warriors, and they lost that Lakers game. But especially those last two games, there were moments. I wonder if you're like me, Rob. Like, are you watching? Because you got to host a post-game show. I have to come on your post-game show. So I'm trying to watch those games and kind of think about stories, how I'm going to talk about it if the team wins.
Right.
And in both of those games in the second half, I felt like, but even more so the Golden State game, there were moments where the Grizzlies looked like kind of that first half of the season team. Like you could see them kind of find some rhythm, find some up and down, some pace. It looked, I thought I caught some glimpses of the good Grizzlies. Did you see that too?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest problem, is just obviously the outcome. Because if the Grizzlies hadn't lost 3 games in a row, and they lose that game in the fashion that they lose to the Golden State Warriors, have been like, good game, got beat. But when you've lost as many as the Grizzlies have lost now, what is it, 7 of 8?
Yeah.
That they've lost, it's hard to come up with the positives because the result is the same. I think after the game the other night against the Warriors, started the post-game show, and I was like, yeah, a lot of good stuff, a lot of positives, a lot of benchmarks that you hit that usually result in wins, but unfortunately the result's the same. We're at the point of the season where there are no moral victories and there are no, hey, good job, good efforts. The results need to come, and right now the results just aren't coming. The problem for the Grizzlies.
The problem is there should be no moral victories at this point in the season, except when you've lost 8 of your last 10, you're looking for moral victories. You're not getting real victories, so you'll take any kind of victory you can get.
Well, you'd like to say out of that game, out of the last 2 games that you mentioned, even the Boston game, you'd like to say if you play with that effort every night, you're going to get the results.
Yeah.
You just didn't get them against those teams. But if you play as hard and with that effort tonight against Miami that you played against the Warriors, well, you should get a victory in a game like tonight. So it'll be interesting to see tonight. Will you have that sort of effort? Can you galvanize on the road? I mean, you start looking for everything and all sorts of answers to how this team can turn things around. And I think you're at the point now where you just hope a flip is switched, and that's got to start though here really soon, because you look at the standings this morning and Grizzlies are now down in the 8th spot.
Yeah, Grizzlies trying to switch the flip, like you said. I also would say, as the season goes along, you try to think of it as like a living organism. There's ups, there's downs. It's not a straight line. And Miami earlier this year had that stretch where they lost the most games in a row under Eric Spoelstra. And now, if you look at them, they've won 6 in a row. They had lost 4 straight before that. They've won 6 in a row, and they're playing really well. And I think if you're the Grizzlies, you're just kind of hoping to get on a heater going into the postseason, the way you see some teams do. Miami did that a couple of years ago in the bubble and made a run. So I think if you're the Grizzlies, you kind of hope it clicks right now. I thought it was interesting in that Warriors game where they had basically an 8-man rotation. And to your point, like you said, I brought it up on the Grind City Rewind. It reminded me of the Greg Popovich quote, where it's the quote he uses all the time about the stonemason hitting the rock over and over, and you don't know when it's going to crack, but eventually it's going to crack. So you just keep hitting and hitting and hitting, and that kind of feels like the point the Grizzlies are at right now. Eventually, you hope it's going to crack, but I mean they scored 125 and 127 in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
normally that's enough to get a win, and against a Miami team that averages 109. No, they average 109 points per game. That should be enough to get you a win, even on the road, and so we'll see.
Yeah, and you gotta do the things that will get you wins. You gotta not turn the ball over. You gotta do well on the boards. You gotta play better defensively. I thought there were times at least where you had a much better effort defensively. The other night they made some tough shots. I mean, the Golden State Warriors are going to do that. Boston's going to do the same. Boston, there were too many wide open shots, so. You got to do a much better job defensively. And, I'm not looking for a complete overhaul defensively. I'm just looking for little improvement defensively. And if you can get a little improvement defensively, hopefully that can get you a win. Grizzlies just need a win right now. I mean, more than anything, you need a result, and a result in your favor, because it just feels like it's been a long time since you've gotten one.
Yeah, and everyone, and it's kind of jammed up in the standings. We have the Western Conference standings we can take a look at, which are changing like every single day, because one team wins, one team loses, and it affects the whole up and down. Somebody asked me this today, and I don't know the answer. What are the tiebreaker rules for this thing? Because Minnesota, the Clippers.
Well, first one is head to head. Second one is your conference record.
Well, don't we have the tiebreaker over the Timberwolves?
Yes. I assume we're behind them because it's a 3-way tie there, and I don't know what is next as far as tiebreaker is concerned.
If it's a 3-way tie, you go, all right, fine.
Throw out the head-to-head.
Throw out head-to-head, what's your conference record, and then boom, that team goes ahead. And then it becomes, all right, now instead of a 3-way, we got a 2-way. Yeah. The Clippers have the 2-way tie over the Grizzlies.
Yeah. The Thunder and the Rockets still on top. Lakers are up in the 3 spot now. When a couple of weeks ago, everybody was kind of writing them off right before the Luka trade. So see if the Grizzlies can get a couple wins here. And I mean, they're playing Miami and Charlotte on this road trip. Those are a couple of games that are winnable at the very least. Detroit lost last night to the Thunder, but they were without 6 rotation players because they all got suspended for fighting against the T-Wolves the other night. In the Eastern Conference, Cavs and the Celtics still on top. I still feel like the Celtics are the team to beat in the East. I know Cleveland's been awesome all year, but the Celtics finally got everyone healthy. They've won 9 of their last 10 and have looked really good lately. Feels like the Knicks are sort of like putting along, and I don't know. The Pistons have kind of been the surprise team. Them and the Cavs, I guess, in the East. Is there any other team in the East you look at, Fish, as a chance to like make a run, maybe with good odds?
No, I mean, I think when you look at the East, it's those top 2 teams. Because you look at the Knicks, and the Knicks, much like the Grizzlies, haven't beaten teams that have been good, especially Cleveland or Boston. So they've struggled there. And then the other teams are cute story. Detroit's a cute story. Orlando's a good story, but I just don't think they're ready. I think the two teams have been clearly the best 2 teams in the Eastern Conference, and they'll be the best 2 teams heading into the playoffs, and I think they'll be the last 2 standing. Cleveland against Boston. And, Boston, maybe it's a recency bias, but watching Boston the other night, I thought to myself, how can you beat them 4 times? And I don't know how Cleveland will beat them 4 times, but every time we count out Cleveland, man, they just keep winning games too. So I think that'd be a great series. I'd love to see Cleveland and Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I don't know why it won't be that.
I don't either. The only thing I can think of is maybe if Lillard gets healthy. And I don't know what his return is. I haven't heard a timetable mentioned or anything. But, you got Giannis, you got Lillard, you got some star guys. Like, who knows? Maybe they catch lightning in a bottle. We saw them do it in the in-season tournament. Like, maybe that happens. I don't know. But right now, they would have to, they would be the 6th seed. So they played New York in the first round.
Nobody thinks New York in a 7-game series will be a tough out for the Celtics with the way they can defend and Jalen Brunson and the supporting cast around him?
No, I don't think so. I don't know, Rob. What do you think? Do you think the Knicks have any magic left in them?
No, I don't. I just think right now Boston is just so
locked in.
Built. Yeah, and they're built for just anything. Even if you're a good defensive team, what impressed me the most about Boston was how fast they get the ball up the floor. Especially after you miss a shot. Yeah. Boston's pace is like 27th in the league. So it's not like they're getting the ball up the floor and then, getting fast break points. They get the ball up the floor. They get you scrambling defensively. Then they start moving the ball around and they make that one extra pass for that wide open look from 3. And a lot of times they bury it. And they just get you scrambling so much that I just think it's going to be really difficult. They have so many good shooters on their team and some elite shooters on their team that I just think it's going to be difficult to slow them down. The only thing that slows down Boston, I think, is Boston.
Or injuries.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, if Porzingis suddenly has an injury and isn't playing, that makes a huge difference. Yeah. I mean, he's a unicorn, and he makes a huge difference for them.
Porzingis Cat in the second round will be a matchup to watch. If both of them can advance to the second round, that's something that I look forward to seeing in the playoffs, seeing what happens in a matchup with the Celtics versus the Knicks, and you get those two bigs going at it.
Former Knick, Porzingis. Yeah, he was supposed to be like the savior of the Knicks when Phil Jackson drafted him when I lived in New York. That was a long time ago. He's still around. He's still better than ever. Before we get to some fish nuggets, let's talk baseball for a little bit. Rob, you were surprised with the start by your St. Louis Cardinals, weren't you?
Yeah, 4-2 for the Cardinals now to start the season. That's after a 3-0 start. Yeah, and it was
you told me you'd bet them all 3 games and lost, right?
I did. I bet against the Cardinals the first 3 games of the season and lost all 3. Yeah.
Are you still betting against them or no?
I've decided to give up betting on Cardinal games, at least for now. No, okay. I did bet on Sonny Gray the other day, so I did win. I did win one for the Cardinals, so that was good. But it's surprising that they're 4-2. I mean, they had a 3 home run game from Ivan Herrera, their catcher, who can't throw anybody out, but he can hit a little bit. Yeah. So that was good. The pitching's been okay, I guess, to start the season. Just one time through the rotation was pretty good. But it's surprising that the Cardinals are in first place in the National League Central, even though it's only after 6 games. I'm a little surprised. I don't expect that to continue for them. But yeah, it was nice. I think the one thing that was the most shocking for the Cardinals, they were home Monday with a 3-0 record, and they had 21,000 at the ballpark. And the lowest attendance ever at New Busch Stadium.
What about Cardinal fans? I thought Cardinal fans, St. Louis fans, are the best in baseball.
They're the best in baseball. Yeah, just ask them. Yeah. And they believe that. And I guess they're showing their frustration with Cardinal management by not showing up at the ballpark. So
I don't know.
Sending a message.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of social media things about my Atlanta Braves, who open at home tomorrow, 0-7. First week.
No team has ever won the playoffs that started 0-7.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about that. There's first time for everything. We have 155 games left, and we're getting Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna back in the next week or two, and Sean Murphy. So we're going to be okay with that. You mentioned not being able to throw anybody out. I was just thinking, I just watching the Braves every game this week. Both teams are just running and because you can only throw to first once now, I think maybe the players are even more comfortable with it. O'Neal Cruz has 6 stolen bases. Tatis has 5. Machado has 4. This is the first week of the season. Guys have multiple stolen bases in the same game even, and I wonder if we see records broken this year in stolen bases now that guys are even a little more comfortable with the bigger bases and the pickoff rules and stuff.
Well, I think you're right because last year we expected that to be the case, but I think you're right. I think guys were just kind of getting the feel for it last season, but I think you'll be even more aggressive this year after looking at statistically what it did for teams last year and how successful guys were stealing bases. So yeah, I think it's only going to go up this year. It'll go up a lot. We've already seen it here in this first week of the season. I mean, the O'Neal Cruz numbers are crazy, what he's done already with stolen bases. So, yeah, maybe we get someone on the verge of 100 this year. That wouldn't surprise me.
Well, everybody's talking about the Dodgers being 8-0, but the Padres are 7-0, and they have 3 guys in the top 6 of stolen bases, too. So they're not only can they mash, but they can run the bases a little bit, too. CJ, do you have a baseball team or no? You're not?
I'm a Cardinals fan.
Okay.
I'm a Cardinals fan now. Now, yeah, because I went to the ballpark last year. So after that trip to the ballpark to see a game, I was like, okay, I'll be one of those fans.
No, I think that's totally fair. You the first time you go to a major league game or whatever, that's the team you root for.
Yeah, and it's close enough for me to be able to say, hey, you know what, I can get up there. So our Cardinals, Rob, they're out there doing the damn thing, aren't they? Oh boy. What a great time to be a Cardinals fan.
Rob, how are you feeling about your manager? Because you've had some different feelings about him through the years.
He's terrible.
Couldn't agree with you more, Rob.
I mean, things just haven't changed. Their lineup's not very good. The decisions that he makes aren't very good. I mean, I think Ollie Marmol still being the manager is one of the reasons why nobody's coming to the ball games.
I know that's something that's keeping me from being there.
Yeah.
Yep. See.
I mean, Brian Snicker's getting a lot of crap from the.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, my phone's going crazy. There's a flash flood warning for this area.
Rob, show us some good weather, man.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Go.
Oh my gosh. Look
There's
at that.
some water back there.
Well, we got water falling from the sky,
we got
Rob, and
water, too.
apparently coming up
We
from
got
the
plenty
river.
of water. My phone and my watch just went crazy.
I was gonna do the show outside, but it's so loud from the boats going by.
Yeah,
so.
So, first world problems there.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you over the espresso machines and the Cuban sandwich press that was going around on the beach. The margarita machine was drowning things out.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, do you have any nuggets for us?
I got some nuggets, man. I got
we
some
love
good
the
Final
nuggets.
Four nuggets. You ready for some Final Four nuggets?
I would love some fish nuggets.
All right. Well, this is the second time since the tournament expanded in 1985 that two head coaches under the age of 40 have reached the Final Four in the same year. That's Todd Golden and John Shire. The other time was in 2011 when VCU's Shaka Smart and Butler's Brad Stevens made the Final Four at the ages of 33 and 34, respectively.
What a sort of divergent path Smart and Stevens took since then, huh? Like, now Stevens is considered like one of the best minds in basketball history.
Yeah.
And running the Celtics now, and Shaka Smart's kind of bounced around a little bit. Like, he was coaching Marquette in the tournament. I kind of forgot he was even there.
And he grew hair all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's true. He looked good with the shaved head. We were kind of used to him, and then all of a sudden he has like lots of hair. But anyway, CJ said that like you were kind of angry about it.
I'm just saying, once you come home, where we all need to be, bald, don't do the, hey, I'm gonna start growing hair. Don't do the Rogaine thing or the Hims hair growth thing, or get hair transplants where you put your booty meat on top of your head and the hair from your butt, because that's just butt hair. Don't do that. Just go ahead and embrace being bald, man. Be comfortable in your baldness.
What about like Ime Udoka, who shaved it and then grew? I assume he just grew it, but let it grow in, because this is like a full head of hair after he had the bald head for a long time as an assistant coach.
I think there was some type of supplement, or again, the booty meat on top of your head. No need for the booty hair.
I didn't know that was
butt hair.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's hair transplants. They do a skin graft from your ass right on top of your head.
I thought they just took it from the back of your head and put it on the front.
No, because then it won't grow, because it's still hair from your head. I don't know if that's what they do or not. I'm
pretty sure it's not. Rob, back to you. Sorry about that.
All right. For the first time since the tournament field expanded in 1985, all 12 Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games were won by the favorite. Previous high was 11 in 1997.
So do we bet the favorite the rest of the way?
That's the way it looks. The way it looks.
Can I add something to that, Rob?
Sure, man.
And this tournament, this is according to Action Network, favorites of 8+ points are 21-0 straight up. That's what they were coming into this. I don't think anybody is an 8-point favorite. Favorites of 6+ points are 32-2 straight up and 22-12 against the spread. And if you include the power conference tournaments, so the ACC tournament, Big 10, Big 12, Big East, SEC conference tournaments, you include those into that number, 62-3 straight up is what teams favored by 6 points or more. Word so far.
And Duke, you said the team's favored by 6 or more are 32-2. Duke's favored by 5.5. So anyway.
Almost. All right. Since 2008, when all 4 1 seeds reached the Final Four, there have been 9 meetings of 1 seeds. 5 of the 9 were decided by at least 15 points. 4 of the 5 had a spread of 4.5 or fewer, as is currently the case this year with both games.
Somebody's getting blown out.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Of the 2 games,
that's
who's
what
getting
history
blown
says.
out? If you had to guess.
I would say the SEC matchup.
Okay.
I just don't think Houston would allow you to blow them out.
I feel like Houston's going to be the one that would get blown out.
Yeah.
Just because they're not going to be able to score, and I think Duke runs up a big lead, and Houston's like, screw it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like, I agree with you though. I feel like Kelvin Sampson would be like, no, we're playing we're going to be fouling down, with 10 minutes left, down 15 and all that stuff.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. This will be Duke's 5th meeting between 1 seeds. Blue Devils won 3 of the previous 4, with all 4 games decided by 6 points or fewer. Yeah. In 2008, the only other time when all 4 1 seeds reached the Final Four, neither semifinal was decided by fewer than 15 points. Favored Memphis beat UCLA by 15, and Kansas upset North Carolina, winning by 18 as a 3-point dog. So, a couple of blowouts last time this was the case. In the last 4 Final Fours, there have been just 1 upset in the national semifinals. 8 seed North Carolina over Duke in 2022. In the last 8, there have been just 2, with Texas Tech over Michigan State in 2019 being the other. So favorite blowout is what we're looking at. Favorite blowout. All right, couple of NBA nuggets for you. Nobody in NBA history has ever been in the top 10 in points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, and steals per game in a single season. Nikola Jokic is currently in the top 3 in every category.
Real quick, does he get your MVP vote, CJ?
No.
Rob?
I wouldn't vote yet.
All right.
I need another week of SGA, and
75 games isn't enough to make a decision.
I'd probably vote SGA. I don't know. But every week I'm back and forth on these 2 dudes because Jokic is it's ridiculous what he's doing. In that game he had, what was that, last night? Was
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago.
61, 10 and 10.
Yeah.
And they lost.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Them losing that game is why I would vote for Jokic for MVP probably.
You'd vote for Jokic?
Yeah, because he has a lot less help on that team than SGA has on the Thunder. And the question is not who's the best player, it's who's the most valuable player. Right? And so to me it's Jokic, but whatever.
All right. One more NBA nugget for you. Luka Doncic. The Doncic just had the most 3 points made in a single month in Lakers franchise history with 64. Most 3-pointers in a single month in Lakers franchise history.
Yeah.
64 of them for Luka.
I mean, who on the Lakers could shoot in Lakers history? Glenn Rice?
Byron Scott? They didn't have shoot.
Did they have 3-pointers?
They did, but nobody shot them. They shot like 1 a game. The whole team shot 1 a game.
Don't shoot him like you shoot him now.
I guess Swaggy P.
Derek Fisher. That was.
But he was more of a clutch 3-point shooter.
Kobe could shoot.
Kobe shot. Kobe couldn't shoot.
Yeah.
He shot.
You would think Kobe would have 1 month where he made 60. That's like 2 a game.
Right. Because you'd expect he'd have 1 game where he'd make 10.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. That was your last one, Fish?
That's it. That's all the nuggets.
There is some breaking news right now. I just saw from the world of college basketball that UConn adds ex-Georgia star Silas Demery to backcourt in the transfer portal. I would just like to say that I watched Silas Demery play many games this season. I don't know if you guys remember, I told you why I was not thinking Georgia would make a run in the NCAA tournament because they didn't have the guard play.
Yeah.
UConn just got the best guard Georgia had, and I don't know if that's a good fit for UConn.
Bean was 33% on his career from 3.
Kobe?
Yeah.
What's Luka?
I'm going to guess 35.
Let's look it up.
I guess it's not near as bad. It can't be near as bad as what Kobe was.
I mean, 35 is pretty near it to 33.
Yeah, that's 2 percentage points higher. Kobe's best 3-point
34.9.
Okay, so 35. Yeah.
So out of 100 shots, he makes 1 more, 1.5 more.
That's still more.
But it's not a lot more. Anyway, let's take a break. We'll take one more break. We'll come back. We're going to finish up today's episode of The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Creed. By overwhelming demand, the Summer of '99 tour returns. July 27th, FedEx Forum. With special guests 3 doors down. And Mammoth WVH. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Creed returns, the Summer of '99 tour.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
The Millennium Tour 2025 with Trey Songz, Hustle Marion, with Bow Wow, with special guest Rick Ross, along with Plies, Boosie, the Yin Yang Twins, and RSVP, featuring Ray J, Sammy, Bobby V, and Pleasure P, and Nivea. Sunday, April 6th in FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster and BPCtickets.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Welcome back to the Odds Couple on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Here's Rob Fisher and Lang Whitaker.
Welcome back to the Odds Couple here on Grind City Media. Lang Whitaker alongside Rob Fisher and CJ Hurt as we finish off today's show. Get you ready for the big weekend. We always like to do a top five on this program. We talk about coaches, players, whatever. On the heels of the Memphis Hustle announcing their new mascot, Maine, who's a lion, Rob asked us all to give us our top five mascots. So I guess I can go first if you want to throw my list up there because I need to see it because I don't really remember who I picked. Number five, I went with Harry Dog. That's the Georgia mascot. That's the big guy with the head, the giant head. You know, it's a guy in a costume. Rocky, who was the Denver Nuggets mascot. I liked him a lot because he used to always fight with Charles Barkley when I was a kid. I don't know if you guys remember that. Barkley knocked him out one time, like almost literally. Also, there was the famous clip of him on YouTube where he was getting lowered down from the ceiling and he passed out, and they just they lower a knocked out guy all the way down. The gorilla in Phoenix kind of set the tone for a lot of these guys. Blooper, the Atlanta Braves mascot, has probably my favorite Twitter account of any Braves related thing. He's funny. Blooper's good. Bloopy's good. And then Ugga X, I'll go to the 10th. I thought about Ugga 7. I thought about Russ, who was his replacement for a short time. Ugga X, though, won back-to-back national championships. So it's kind of hard to go against Ugga X. So I got to go Ugga X, number one. Fish, take us through your top five.
Yeah, number five for me is KC Wolf of the Kansas City Chiefs. Just a very energetic mascot. Fantastic mascot. One of the best in football. And always enjoy him. Number four, Benny the Bull. Benny the Bull's great. The Chicago Bulls. Gets involved with the crowd a lot. Is very entertaining. Just entertains throughout the course of a game. It's great. Number three, I got Clutch from the Houston Rockets. Clutch the Bear. Clutch used to be number one on my list, but then they changed the Clutch person.
Oh.
And
there's a person?
Well, the person that's inside a Clutch. You know,
there's a person that inside these things?
Yeah, that wears the costume. Yeah. Right. But they changed, and it kind of tailed off a little bit. So Clutch has dropped a couple of spots on my list. Rocky, you mentioned Rocky with the Denver Nuggets. He's great. Rocky always likes to give me crap for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because one time I was standing outside Rocky's locker room and someone asked me who my favorite mascots were. And I said Grizz, Clutch, and then Rocky. And Rocky was standing behind me and he was upset about it. And he's given me some problems since then. And number one on my list is the Philly Fanatic. Just one of the all-time greats. Just funny. Still funny. Yeah. And my favorite Sports Center commercial is the one of the Philly Fanatic getting out of the shower because there's nothing funnier than naked mascots. That's one of my favorite things in life. And the Philly Fanatic, one of my favorite naked mascots. So go Phillies.
CJ?
The Suns Gorilla and the Philly Fanatic almost made my list. I like those a lot for you guys. I'm going to go with Big Red, Western Kentucky's mascot. Just this red blob of a thing. I love mascots who are just chaos. And he exemplifies
Stanford
that.
Tree is up there, too.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Give me Benny the Bull, Rob. I'm with you on Benny the Bull and all his greatness. Then we get the big old boys, the chonkers, the ones that can actually do damage. Bevo running around on the football field, big ass horns and all, running over cheerleaders. I love it. Ralphie the Bull for Colorado, same type of energy, just a little bit bigger, and they actually run alongside.
Yeah, that's kind of dangerous.
Ralphie, very dangerous.
Both of those guys, yeah.
Yes. And I love it. Keep them out there until they cause somebody significant harm. And then Gritty, the most chaotic mascot that there is. Blooper is great, also Lang, but those are my 5.
Bevo went after Uga and missed. Uga got out the way. Uga saw it coming. He moved. He was out of there before all the humans were. The humans didn't know.
They were trying to get Coach Prime to run out with Ralphie, and Prime's like, nah, I only got 8 toes, dog. I'm not doing that.
I don't blame him. I would stay away from those things, too. We need somebody who's the Lions to have a lion mascot. Like an actual lion mascot. That would be terrifying. Alabama has a live elephant, Jacob said?
North Alabama
has a real lion. Huh.
The Tigers.
LSU
Memphis,
used to have that tiger.
Yeah, LSU used to have
they
it.
didn't run him out on the field.
Well, you want them to run with the lion on the field?
That's what I'm saying.
Who's holding the leash?
Not me. I'll tell you that, brother. We have Roser's top 5, too. I don't even know who he picked. Let's see. Who did Roser go with his top 5? Number 5, Clutch. Number 4, Bevo. Number 3, Ralphie. Number 2, Uga. Number 1, the Duck, the Oregon Duck. The Oregon Duck is kind of sassy. He's got a good personality. So
did you know the Oregon Duck was basically created to look like Donald Duck? It is a Donald Duck clone, and
I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
Oregon had to get permission from Walt Disney to use it as a mascot, and Walt Disney allowed them to use the Donald Duck's likeness for their mascot, and they agreed to this like back in 1947. I don't think they'd agree to that today.
No, I don't either. They'd want some compensation.
When's the last time you've seen Donald Duck in a Disney anything? It's been a while since we've seen Donald, Goofy, Mickey kicking it in Disney.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, none of those guys are in like movies anymore. Yeah. There is a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show. Those of us who are parents would know. And Donald and Daisy are in that. Yeah. Theme songs. The theme songs. The theme songs performed by. No. The new one's like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. It's performed by They Might Be Giants, the pop band.
Oh.
Who kind of have like simplistic, fun songs. It's kind of a kid's thing. You don't really realize it until you see the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. CJ, it's time for our UFL breakdown.
Oh, what a week it was in the UFL, and we got another week this week. Last week on the picks went 2-2. This week we're going undefeated.
That's
we're going to start
back-to-back 2 and 2 weeks, right?
We're going to. Well, it's only been 1 week of football.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's not going to be back to back because we're going 4-0 this week. Right. Let's start with the Stallions, who haven't lost consecutive games since 2022. They got drilled last week. I'm not sure what's going on with Coach Skip Holtz and that team. They gave up 7 sacks on their quarterback last week. They're taking on the Michigan Panthers. They are laying a 1.5. Give me the Showboats laying a 1.5. Renegades, 10.5-point favorite over the Roughnecks. That Western Division is abysmal. The Roughnecks may be the worst offense in this league, worse than the Showboats. Give me the Renegades laying the 10.5. The Roughnecks only had 75 yards passing last game. They were awful. So we're going to go with the Renegades in that one. Battlehawks. I'm going to roll with the Battlehawks laying the 7. This might be St. Louis's year, Rob. Bring home the whole damn thing, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Give me the Battlehawks laying the 7. And then Showboats. They got their coach back, got their offensive coordinator back in Kim Winston-Hunt. They are plus 7.5 against the Defenders. None of that shit matters. Roll with the Defenders. The Showboats are in a dark place right now. So we're going to go Defenders minus the 7.5. Battlehawks minus 7. Renegades minus 10.5. And Stallions minus a 1.5. It's real chalky, but that's the way it rolls in the UFL, baby.
I'm reading a recap of the Showboats game last week and says both Troy Williams and E.J. Perry split time on Sunday. Perry was the starter and nearly led a comeback late. Williams threw the game-sealing pick 6, but outside of that, he looked good.
Oh, jeez.
Outside of that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln?
Nobody.
That's great. All right. Well, you got any free picks for tonight?
I got a couple. Couple for you. I'm going Cincinnati baseball. Cincinnati Reds at Milwaukee tonight. A slight underdog for the Reds. Also, UC Irvine minus a 3.5 against Chattanooga in the NIT final.
I like that.
And
one.
on the ice, Dallas minus a 1.5 against Nashville.
All right. Well, I got nothing else for you except that it's time to get home and go watch some Grizzlies tonight. Tons of college basketball this weekend. It's the best time of the year. Baseball started. The Masters is next weekend. We'll talk about that next week. But have fun. Have a nice weekend. Be safe out there if you're around this area because I think these storms are going for a couple more days. I'm Lang Whitaker. That was Rob Fisher. That was CJ Hurt. John Roser made a guest appearance at the beginning. We appreciate you watching. You've been watching The Odds Couple here on Grind City Media.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping.
It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the form rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
The Millennium Tour 2025 with Trey Songz. Hustle Marion. With Bow Wow. With special guest Rick Ross. Along with Clyde. Boosie. The Yin Yang Twins. And RSVP. Featuring Ray J, Sammy, Bobby V, and Pleasure P. And Nivea. Sunday, April 6th in FedEx Forum. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster and bpctickets.com.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.